Hi folks, finally got to go on another trip and went up the Upper Noosa River. If you follow me on Facebook you would have seen videos and posts about getting ready for the trip. One of the things that I do when I'm getting ready is get all relevant information printed out and laminate it. It's maps of the area. This has distances between campsites and so forth. Although the times they give you for how long it takes I think must be for an Olympic paddler, certainly not for me or somebody else I know. Took me 3 hours and 20 minutes on the trip back from Camp 8 back to Harry's Hut, and that was only stopping for the occasional photo and flick a lure at the occasional snag that I saw, but I didn't do much of that because it was too late in the day. So I hope you enjoy what I've got to offer. I've been through all the video, some of it's very average. I'll try and string something together that's half worth watching. So thanks again for clicking on the video. I hope you enjoy what you see. Harry's Hut, 10 kilometres. And here we are at Harry's Hut. If you want to know more about Harry's Hut, you can just jump on the internet and have a look. There's plenty of information about the history of the place. Time to find somewhere to park and start loading up. Well, I don't know what time it is, but I'm finally on the water. I left home about 9ish. Got to Pomona by 9:30. Got to Harry's Hut 10:30. I have no idea what time it is now, but it took me a long time to load because I had to carry stuff from the car to the launching point because you can't park right next to it. And there's also stairs to deal with. And I was just about to leave and realised the new drive system or pedal system that I bought for this doesn't flip and fit. It's got two plastic knobs on the side where I don't know what they're for, but they won't fit in this model. I'm hoping when I unload at the other end I can maybe find something to chop them off. I'll see what's in my little I'll see what's in my multi-tool. I think there might be a saw in that. Oh, I've got a saw with me. Yeah, I've got my Silky Gomboy with me, and I've got a fine tooth blade on that. I'll use that. That'll carve through it in no time. Then I'll be back to the pedaling. Should have thought of that before I left. Anyway, rain forecast for the next 3 days. Just scattered showers, I think. And that's for the Cooloola area in general, not just here. So I might get wet, I might not. Got limited water. I do have a Grail filter with me, and I know some people have taken water from the river and filtered that and boiled it. So I could do that, or if it rains I'll try and catch some just for a bit of backup supply. So on the downside, aside from the drive system not fitting, it's windy. Seems to have dropped off for a second. Yeah, so it's windy. On the plus side, it's majority of the wind is behind me, so I've just got rudder down and I'm paddling instead of pedaling. Anyway, I'll most likely chat to you when I get to camp. I didn't bother rigging up a fishing rod because I'm running later than I actually wanted to. I was going to just take my time and fish on the way up, but now I'm running a lot later than I wanted to. Anyway, talk to you soon. So I wish I'd rigged the rod up now, because even though I'm in a hurry to get to camp now because I'm running late, and sorry about water on the lens by the way, there's so many prime spots that I'd love to flick a lure. There's some new, well not new, but new since I've been here. There's more trees down in the river, and there's an undercut on the bank back there, and the sorts of places that you wouldn't hesitate to throw a lure at. I was going to stop at campsite 1, but there's a bloke there in a little trailer sailor hogging the whole dock, and had his what do you call it, swag on the dock. So he's not even sleeping in the boat, he's sleeping on the dock, but he's hogging the whole dock, so it would have been too difficult for me to get in there and have a go at fixing this drive. But Camp 2 is not too far away from Memory, so I'll stop there, dig out my saw and see if I can't hack these two nodes off the drive, because the wind has not stayed behind me as it was. So shout out to Craig, I feel for you mate. At least I've got a double-ended paddle, and I've got to move my rod holders too because they're interfering with the paddle stroke. Just a bit too difficult to do at the moment. My bad hip's giving me some grief, and my lower back's a bit sore, but I'm glad I'm here. Stunning place. Just give you another little look. I think it's only 1 kilometre between Camp 1 and Camp 2. I think the biggest stretch is between 5 and 8, I think that's 5 kilometres. But I can't get to my paperwork right now. Hey folks, finally made it to camp. I've dragged everything up from the river. Just about to have a bite to eat. I forgot to bring the wraps, so I was going to have a ham and salad wrap for lunch every day, and I guess I'm just having ham and salad on a plate. Anyway, the plan is 4x4 tarp there, and oh, there we go. Tent back this way so that if it rains I can get in and out of the tent under cover. So this is a level area. Around the other side's not so level. Let's have a look. Yeah, around this side just drops off to the edge, but I'll do my cooking on this little flat spot just here. So yeah, I've still got to finish setting up camp, but first I'm going to have something to eat. I'll give you a little quick walk back out to the river. A couple of things I forgot. Despite writing myself a note, I left the landing net behind. I also just realised, as I just mentioned, I forgot to bring the wraps. They're still in the fridge. And the drive system, new drive system I bought, doesn't fit the older model kayak, so I ended up paddling to the first 2 campsites. The first one I couldn't get off at because some bloke was hogging the whole dock with his swag and his trailer sailor. Don't even know how he got it up here. And I went to the second one and remembered I had my silky saw, so I cut these little knobs off that were in the way and ended up pedalling the rest of the way, so it was much easier. So the wind's, it's a little bit sheltered on this corner here. As you can see, beautiful reflections and very glassy, not total glass off, but anyway. Drops off pretty quick here, and it's a bit of an awkward place to get out and unload. So I'm looking straight down at the water now, and you're seeing the trees on the opposite bank. Absolutely glorious. So later on I'll rig up a rod. I didn't end up fishing on the way up because I was running late. I'll rig up a rod and see if I can cast over at that snag over there. And another one over there. And I might be able to walk down the bank a bit. There's another one over there. I was going to go for a fish this afternoon, but by the time I get camp set up it'll probably be too late, so I'll just do an early morning fish. Could even be some fish under this tree right here. Right, we'll walk back to camp. There's a little bit of room here, but apparently you're not meant to camp this close to the river, you're meant to go back into the bush. On a personal note to Craig, I'm not sure where exactly you camped, because looking at your video there was some copper's logs or something like a boundary to the camping area, and you had your tarp tied to it. I can't see any such thing here. Maybe I didn't walk in far enough, but I found a clearing that's good enough. Couldn't do my normal trucker's hitch on the rope. I had to do a different method around the tree because there was barely enough room to tension the tarp up. But anyway, it's a 4x4, so I'm going to have a massive undercover area. There are showers forecast. Anyway, I'm going to have something to eat. And I've pre-packed all my individual servings of, what have I got here? Yeah, see if I can get it to focus. So I got cheese, capsicum, carrot, and some lettuce and ham. So I'm going to scoff that and then finish setting up camp. I'll talk to you later. Well, good morning. Not sure if you can see me or not. That was my little early morning wake up. A hot cloth on the face. So I just had a little walk around, tried to pick up some bird song. You can probably hear it now. So I'll have my morning cup of tea, rig up my fishing rod, which I should have done yesterday, go for a little fish, and then come back and have some breakfast. Slept reasonably well. Well, considering my usual complaints, bad hip being the worst one. Heard some either wild dogs or dingoes last night howling in the distance, and I had a few visitors into camp last night, although I didn't see what it was. Could have been dogs, dingoes, turkeys, possums, who knows. I just lay there quietly. I can't see any obvious signs this morning, and the ground's a little bit too hard for any decent prints. Had a light shower of rain during the night. I bought my winter sleeping bag and thermals, I thought, just in case. I don't know how cold it's going to be, but at first, by the time I got in there and gave myself a sponge off and changed clothes, I was pretty hot. It cooled down later in the night, and yeah, I managed to drift off to sleep. So yeah, that's supposed to be a two-man tent, but I think one person plus gear, and you wouldn't want much more in there. I took all the food inside the tent with me. So yeah, I'll have this cup of tea. I'll get back to you later. Almost enough water. Well, g'day. This trip's been one, well, not catastrophe, one annoyance after another. So what little footage I got on the GoPro this morning, I had to erase because it said there was an error with the card, and the only way to fix it was to format it, which of course means you lose all the data. So I did that, I formatted it, and it didn't make a bit of difference. So what little I had on there is now gone. So anyway, it's about 9:30 or so, and I've come back to camp after having a fish this morning, and I'm just trying to get myself organised for an omelette and some bacon. So I've got some chopped up spring onions to go in it, chopped up capsicum or red bell peppers, whatever the Americans call them. And I'll get some cheese. There's a larger pack in there somewhere for the omelette. That's that one. Some bacon. And after I get that sorted out, I'll make some tea again. I can't believe I got a pack of 24 of these, 350ml water bottles, put them in the freezer, froze them solid, and I've got 2 half-litre bottles of milk that were sitting in between them. It half froze the milk, despite being in the sun on the way here yesterday. But yeah, that's thawed out better now. So of course I'm running out of ice as I take water out of here to drink, but I'm hoping it'll be enough. The more ice I take out, the quicker the rest of it will melt. But I'm hoping it'll last me until, well, as long as it needs to last me. Bucket loads of mosquitoes around here. Whoops. Not too bad now, it's warmed up a bit. Alright, before I make my omelette, I have to wash up a bit. Oh yeah, the fishing. So, of course, if you see a nice looking snag that might hold fish, you cast at it and you get snagged on it. That's how you do it, isn't it? That's what I did. Anyway, after about 20 minutes, I got, oh there I am. After about 20 minutes I got one soft touch. Then about 20 minutes later I got what felt like a decent fish, but I think I was a little bit over eager and I dropped it. I fished for another hour after that and not a touch. I did however get a couple more snags. Anyway, I'm going to cook breakfast and not sure how long SIM cards and batteries are going to last. Batteries I can recharge, not SIM cards, memory cards. I really need to get more. The one in this camera is a 64K. The two I was using in the GoPro are only 32. I do have one more 64. We'll see how we go. Anyway, a bit of a look around the camp in daylight. I think I did it already, but we'll give you another look. I've got my, behind the kayak is the trail that goes out to the river. I've thrown my hammock up there just to relax and read a book or just sit in as a chair. I've got my 4x4 DD hammocks tarp. If I was backpacking I'd bring the 3x3 Elton Goods tarp, but because I've got more load capacity with the kayak I bought a bigger tarp. So I've set it up so that if it's pouring with rain and I want to dry off and get changed, I've got somewhere to do it before I crawl in. I can be dry and changed before I crawl in the tent. So yeah, so that's my little Taj Mahal for the next couple of days. The wind has picked up considerably. Well, there's still fairly sheltered on the river in spots, but anyway, some awesome birds around here. There's another track, goes this way. Doesn't go far. I suspect that might be where people go to do their business. I had a bit of a walk yesterday. It doesn't go far, or if it does, it's overgrown. Anyway, I'll chat to you later. Bye for now. So I put the other card back in, the card that was in the GoPro when it shut down. And yeah, I don't know why it shut down. I thought it was, the battery was dead, I think, but anyway. Now it turns out the card wasn't full, and the other card I had in this morning died, and it seems I'm missing one of my 64 gig cards. I've only got the 164 gig in the Canon. Now I brought you down here to show you what somebody's been doing, and I didn't even notice it till this morning. I've walked past it probably 10-20 times already. Looks like somebody's had an attempt at starting to build a shelter, or perhaps trying to explain to somebody how to do a shelter, and only got part way through it. But I'm actually thinking of pinching 3 of the long ones and making a tripod, and then I can mount the just wrap the GorillaPod around it with the Canon on it and have a bit of altitude for the Canon. Anyway, that's all I wanted to show you. Okay, recording on 2 cameras at once. Why? Well, because I can, but also this is not really a bushcraft trip, but I pulled a couple of bits of timber out of that lean-to shelter I found earlier that I showed you. Stripped the bark off. One had already stripped off. Stripped the bark off the tops and cleaned the tops up. Lashed them together. Way too much lashing, but I cut a long piece of bank cord and I didn't want to cut it anymore, so I'll use it again. So why carry a tripod with you when you can use a GorillaPod and just wrap it around a bush tripod? So just have a bit of a right. Yeah, so I'll turn this one off now. So yeah, I've seen a lot of people take proper tripods into the bush, and I thought, well, why? The GorillaPod, if there's a horizontal branch handy, which there isn't here, but you can wrap it around a tree branch, or as I just showed you on this camera, make a tripod and put your GorillaPod on it. And of course you've got all the adjustments for angles and directional on the actual, what do you call it, GorillaPod. So, can you tell I'm bored? But I'm enjoying being here. I'm just rigging up another rod. I bought this one a while back at a camping show. It's about 7 foot, but it breaks down into 6 pieces, each piece being about as long as the butt there. Packs down into that. And the reel that came with it, or rather the reel he sold me with it, it's only a 1000 size, a tiny little thing, and surprisingly heavy for the size of it. Now it says, hasn't got pounds, it's got meters, 0.20 or millimeters per meter, yeah, 0.20 160 meters. I've actually got 10-pound braid on it, because in the river here and little creeks I might find backpacking, you're not going to get screaming runs of 100 meters, or very unlikely anyway. So I'm thinking that this will be more than adequate. I want to have half a chance of pulling a fish out of a snag. So just going to rig this up now. So yeah, this brand, what is it? Seaside. Never heard of it. I don't expect it to be very high quality at all, or the rod for that matter. But I'm going to give it a crack this afternoon when I go out again. And I'm going to put I've got a soft plastic on the other rod, so I'll throw a hard body on this one and throw some fluorocarbon leader on it. I'm going to get my little notebook out later. I'm going to write a list of things that I forgot. Things I've already mentioned, but I left my vegetables. I had some frozen vegetables I was going to cook up with the steak. And I was going to do a potato as well, fry it up and make some chips, but I just couldn't be bothered by the time I cooked. This afternoon I think I want to have an early dinner and get the cooking done out of the way before it gets dark. It's just a bit easier and there's less bugs around. And then I'll go and have a fish, come back when it gets dark. One thing I thought would be handy to bring, every time you buy something from Survival Supplies Australia, they send you a little free gift. One of the things they sent me was a light stick, and I thought, coming from upriver, it's very hard to see the sign marking campsite number 8, and I thought if I come back in the dark, if I hung a light stick from it, of course I could have just bought my GPS as well, but anyway, if I hung my light stick, a light stick off the tree branch, then I can find my way back in the dark. What are we doing here? That's come off. So this kayak, as I mentioned in a previous video, has had a lot of TLC, a lot of parts replaced, new seat, new drive system. This is what I was talking about in an earlier clip. This is obviously made for a later model. It had 2 little knobs on here. I've just hacked them off with the Silky. It had 2 knobs sticking out here about, trying to get the light right so I can see it. Yeah, just there, one each side, and yeah, it had 2 knobs sticking out, and I don't know what it's got to do with the current model, but it didn't fit in this model. This one's a few years old. So when I got to campsite 2, I remembered I had, on the way to campsite 2, I remembered I had my Silky saw. So I whipped that out, put the fine tooth blade on it and chopped those off. And then I was back to pedaling, which is a damn sight better than paddling, I can tell you. I'll tell you how much easier it is. I was fishing offshore once and a 20 knot westerly came up sooner than forecast. I had to, let me just move you a little bit there. Yeah, came up sooner than forecast, and I was about 2 kilometres offshore. I just shuffled my butt, adjusted my pedals, shuffled my butt and dropped my shoulders to get my windage, reduce my windage, and yeah, and I just did a steady pedal and made it home against, I think it took me about an hour to do the 2k, but I wasn't in any hurry and I knew I wasn't going to have an issue getting home. It's not really warm enough, I don't think, for surface activity, but come dusk I might just actually it was the same up here last time I fished up here. Dusk was better than early morning, and to be honest I was a bit late getting out this morning. Since the water's a bit dark and dirty, some people say use it, if water's dark, use a dark lure. If it's clear, use a shiny lure. But I think whatever works on the day. That fella there. Get it to focus. Come on, focus. Anyway, I don't know if you can see that or not. Looks like a big black bush cockroach, I suppose. I might give that a go, see how that goes. Haven't actually used that yet. Hooks are still shiny and new. Either that, so that's a deep dive. I've got a couple of 8 metre divers here. Haven't used those yet either. It's been a while since I did any serious fishing. And I must have topped a few things up before I went last. Got some spinnerbaits. Actually, you know what? I might throw some sort of spinnerbait on. I don't know if there's any freshwater shrimp in this river, but there's a pretty cool looking, ow, sharp hook. There's a pretty cool looking can't see if that's focused or not. Autofocus. I'll leave it on autofocus anyway. Light's not really good. So there's that one. That one. That one. So some of these sorts of things are much better if there's snags around, they're less likely to get hung up. But yeah, I've got all sorts in here. If it was closer to Christmas, I'd use this big cicada. Got my best bass on that. 50 centimetre bass in Ewan Matic Dam I got on that one. What to use, that's the question. Decisions. And a couple of little hard body rattlers. Another one. Oh, what's that? Looks like a cicada. Christmas beetle. There's probably no point throwing a Chrissy beetle around because there's none around this time of year. There's another hard body with a rattle. The rattle might be good in the dark water. Anyway, I'm going to keep fiddling, rig this rod up and stop yakking. This is the only card I've got. I left one of the 64 gigs or megs or whatever you call it at home. See you later.